If you're done coming in, use your camera and phone to take a picture of that. QR code that will lead you to the entire presentation. You can save that copy if you would like. Great, we have some sharing along the side. If you're not interested, I also have the QR codes and the posts around the room if you'd like to see that. All right, thank you for your patience as we let everyone in. Can I have a thumbs up on my volume? How's my volume? Thank you. All right, well, good evening and welcome everyone. Now it's time to, there we go. Hang on, it's bouncing against my. All right, let's try that. I'm Michelle Blackley. I am honored every day to be the principal here at Daniel Wright. This is the start of my 8th year here. And so it's interesting because my son, who started here in 6th grade, moved from out of state, and he was now going to college. So, as you all sit here, where I was, right, 8 years ago, I'm like now in that next chapter. So, I have to tell you that it's always another chapter, right? It's always another transition. Raise your hand if you are a parent who this is your first time with this child coming into 6th grade. Oh my gosh. Well, okay. Just so you know, we're all here for you. We are all here for you. We will support you. It will be okay. All of the students are here, and we have some family members who will be joining us in 6th grade. Raise your hand. Nice. Nice. Well, just, you know, it's going to be okay. Right? It's going to be okay. I know you're a little worried. I know that there are some of you in this room that may haven't been in school, in actual school in over a year. And we get that. And we're going to talk a little bit today about some things we're going to do to help with that transition. All right, we're going to start off by doing not really fun stuff, but more informational stuff. And students, a lot of this is for parents, because they're the ones that are more nervous than you. Okay? They're not going to know how to read your schedule. They're not going to understand how this all works. And you're going to figure it out on the first day, and you're going to be fine. Yes, I always say it is hard to transition to the middle school because K-5, your children are with the same teacher pretty much all day. Then they get here and they're moving through 10 different periods, all these different teachers, and it can feel overwhelming. So we're going to talk about that as well. Okay, before we move on, I do want to point out that I have an entire team here to support kids. And I am so thankful every day of my 2 assistant principals. So Mrs. Manfong over there. She just walked out. Yeah, so she just walked out. But most of you met Mrs. Little Fair. I'll have her wave as she comes in. She was out front greeting people. And there she is. Let's go there. Also, this is important for you to know who we have in our front office. We have Gayatri Kalyanaraman. Gayatri is direct assistant to me. If you want to schedule an appointment with me, you would do that. She also will give you information on programming, procedures, processes, enrollment, transcript, those kinds of things. Mrs. Logan, who you met in the hallway, Mrs. Logan actually is one of our administrative assistants who is in charge of buildings, facilities, athletics, clubs, school calendars, those kinds of things. And then Mrs. Edelman is our main receptionist, and she will greet you at our front window, and that is she'll collect any items you have to drop off. She's a wealth of information to answer any questions. But here's an overview of our great DW office staff. Attendance. So Mrs. Weaver has just joined us this summer, and she is our attendance secretary. Now, to report an absence, there's a number here. A phone conversation, a phone message actually is needed. That we do not accept emails as evidence of an absence. So just so you know that please call the number, leave a voicemail message. Sending us an email is helpful if you're going to be gone for several days and you want to let the staff know, but you still have to call our attendance line to report that absence. If you're picking up a student early, you can actually sign them in or out in the building. You can come in and physically sign them in or out. Or if you're dropping off late, or you can use this QR code. It accesses the form. You can do it from your car. If you're sitting outside, we'll see it and we'll have the student come out. That's a procedure we put in place during COVID to lessen the amount of people in the building. So the QR code can also be found on the D103 website. So if you actually go on the D103 website and just in the search bar put QR code, it will come up. So you can come in and physically sign your child in or out, or you can do it from your car using that QR code. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about what your day is going to look like. Well, the school day, students should arrive to school no earlier than 8 a.m. Parents, if you are driving your children to school, dropping them off, the doors don't unlock till 8 a.m. I do not have staff in the building to supervise your children until 8. And I'm going to tell you right now that it feels horrible when it's freezing cold out or raining, and I have kids standing there, and the door is locked. So please don't put us in that position if your child stands in the rain or the cold, and know that the doors will unlock at 8. You will need to come into the cafeteria, and this is where you will stay until the locker bell. Classes begin at 8:30. And students should arrive no later than 8:20, because at 8:20, that's when you can go down to your lockers, start getting ready, get your items for class, head off to class. And then dismissal is at 3:35. Tardies and student absences. So please know that the first few weeks of school we get, and especially for our 6th graders, we want to help you feel comfortable in the building, get where you need to be. We are not going to, in the first week of school, say, you've been tardy 3 times, and you're trying to find your way around the building. So I want you to know that this is when we get into later in the year, if we have this scenario that a student is continually late to school or late to a specific class, we do assign detention for 3 or more tardies. Now, just as the doors automatically lock at 8 o'clock, they automatically lock at 8:30 a.m. And again, you may drop your child off and they walk up and they go to grab the door and it locks. It's not because we saw them coming, and we couldn't hit the lock button. It is automatic. So if the door is locked, that means you're late. So then you would have to sign in with our secretaries. All right, so getting to school. There's many ways you can get to school. You can come by bus, where every student is assigned to a bus. We also do bus seating, grades 6 in the front, then 7, then 8 in the back. And students may not ride other buses home. So we don't do that and allow that. Of course, we do have some extenuating circumstances where parents are didn't get in on time or whatever, and there would be no one home, and they want us to drop off a student to go home on another bus. So I'm not saying we won't or can't do it, but it's not typical practice that we allow kids on other buses. Walking to school, please use the cross at the crosswalks. And we have a flashing crosswalk in front of DW. That is the one that we suggest that you use. Bike riders, we have multiple places around the building, in the front, on the side, where you can put your bike. We encourage that you do wear a helmet. For those of you that were at half-day school, which should be most of you here, you may recognize this called the yellow note from home. We don't use those here, okay? So we don't need to keep track of your child's after-school plan. Your son or daughter is now in middle school, so you're going to have a conversation with them about what that looks like. If they decide that they want to walk home with a friend, can they do that or can they not do that? We don't keep track of that. So we no longer have notes from home. All right, if you are dropping off your son or daughter, we are a little more fortunate than half-day school. Poor half-day, they really just don't have the place for traffic. So we do have a little bit more leniency and movement for cars. Morning student drop-off is at the very front of the building, which is earmarked here as A. You actually come in with flashing crosswalk is, drop off, swing around, and exit out. So our morning drop-off is pretty good and pretty quick. Students, if you're riding a bus, the bus will actually come around, and 6th grade, you'll be dropped off here at the end of the 6th grade wing, and then 7th grade, and then 8th grade. So buses come around the building, parents drop off at the front of the building. Now, if you're picking your son or daughter up after school, it's a little different. We do ask that you come in, again at the crosswalk, and you're going to go counterclockwise. So you're going to turn right, and you're going to go counterclockwise around the building, and then exit out this way. Where you will pick up your son or daughter is at the exits here, P and R, which are the 6th grade exits. They will come out, there are sidewalks here, and stand along the sidewalk, so you will come all the way around. This is one-way traffic, 2 lanes, so that if 7th and 8th grade parents are lined up here waiting to pick up their kids, you can pull around to here to pick up your 6th grade student, okay? So it's counterclockwise around the building, and there'll be a lot of staff out there the first few days of school to help guide that process. Okay, so here's where middle school gets incredibly different. It is where we have multiple periods in a day. This is the 6th grade bell schedule. You can see we have 10 periods in our day. Classes we call our core content classes. So core content class, Spanish, science, social studies, math, and ELA. There are 10 periods in the day. 5 are core content periods. 1 period is lunch. 2 creative arts, health, and PE periods. And then you have 1 flex period for academic assistance, band, orchestra, and choir. Report cards for our core content classes out 3 times a year at a trimester. So a trimester, every 12 weeks, you will get a report card. So in the month of November, February, and then June. So you can see that all 6th grade students have a schedule in the sense that period 1 and 2 is a core content class. For one student, it might be science first period, social studies second period. This is just an example. But what we do know is first and second period is core content. Third period for all 6th graders is either going to be health and PE or one of our creative arts options, which we'll talk about in a second. Academic assist, band, orchestra, and choir occurs at the end of the day. And we'll talk about band, orchestra, and choir in a minute. So our creative arts, health, and PE is actually called our CAPE courses. So that's our little acronym. When we say CAPE, that's what we mean. Our CAPE courses are a quarter long. So they're 9 weeks. So every 9 weeks, your child will switch a creative arts. Remember that the core contents are trimester long. All students must have 3/4 of physical education and 1/4 of health. That leaves 4 slots in a student's schedule to take the remaining options of creative arts that we have. Students are randomly assigned to those options, and not completely randomly in 6th grade, because we do keep you together with your advisor groups. And there isn't a specific rotation for each advisor. Oh, I jumped ahead, Mrs. Nesbaum, because you are in, so she is wearing her animal print for the reason that she's going to talk about the scariest thing in 6th grade. Scariest thing. Go ahead, Mrs. Nesbaum.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It's really nice to see you here. And yes, the scariest thing for 6th graders and for me personally is this. Okay, it is the lockers. So everybody has an assigned locker, and with combination, each student will receive directions how to open the locker. Will help them, but yes, it's the most stressful thing. I'm sure schedule is easy for you guys to understand. So bring locker shelves to help with organizations. A lot of kids will put stuff in the locker and they'll forget they exist, and then they will find it miraculously, and they'll be really happy they found the treasure. So please bring something to shelves or other organizational tools to keep your lockers organized. And so the locker setup date for 6th grade is Tuesday, August 10th from 9 to 3:30. So when students and families arrive, you will receive your signed locker information, and then students can proceed and set up their lockers with the necessary materials. The building will not be open for locker setup on the first, on August 17th or August 18th. So please make sure you come on the 10th and set up your locker. And yep. Yes, if you need another day and the August 10th doesn't work for you, please make sure you reach out and we can schedule another day for you to come and set up your locker. And even though on the first day of school, we will have no time for locker setup, we can definitely help students to do that. So it's not just one day and it's done. So the other thing is student ID cards. Students will need those for their lunch and library, so they'll use them for lunch and library, and they will receive them on the first day of school during their advisory. So lunches, how we are offering lunches, we'll be offering free hot lunches to all students who are at school on service days. And there'll be variety of options for students to choose from. We'll have a variety of fruits, vegetables, milk, and different options. If there's some preferences, like gluten-free, or you have allergies, or your child is vegetarian, please sign up, and there is also an app that you can download to see the menu in advance. So a little bit more information about lunches. This year, lunches will be held in the cafeteria as well as in the classrooms. We will schedule a rotation so all students have opportunity to eat lunch in the cafeteria. Students will have the opportunity to choose white or chocolate milk. And for water, please make sure your child brings a refillable water bottle. We have stations so they can go ahead and refill it throughout the day and stay hydrated. And if a student does not want the free hot lunch and they select to bring lunch from home, they can definitely do that. Just please be sure to send them with a lunch that does not need to be microwaved, because microwaves will not be available for use. And we'll also not have an a la carte options. So they'll have the free hot lunch or they will bring lunch from home. Okay. So this year for physical education, students will have to change. So they will have uniforms and also appropriate shoes like sneakers here, and they will receive their uniforms the first day of school, and also they will be assigned a locker in the locker rooms for them to change for gym classes.
That one? Usually, sixth graders and future seventh graders, usually I can say with great excitement that we have amazing food here at Daniel Wright, and we have all kinds of options, things, and we have sandwich bar, salad bar. And so I'm sorry to say, of course, as we are still dealing with some of the pandemic issues, we are still going with those prepackaged lunches. And let's just hope that at some point throughout the year, we can transition to something that feels a little bit more typical and more exciting for middle school. So one of the things that, again, we realize is this is a big, big transition. Again, I say that K-5, and even in universities, teacher training is different K-5. That you get certified K-5 or secondary, grade 6-8, is a completely different certification because it is a completely different age developmentally, as well as, again, a different structure in the school day. And we have content specialists. So we get there's a lot of change there. And we want to make sure that we're supporting our students with academic success. A few ways that we do this is we do have an advisory system here, and our advisory, so you will be assigned to an advisory teacher, and you will be with that group of students for creative arts, for your advisory, and for flex time. The purpose of that is we do a lot of team building activities in 6th grade, so that will kind of become your little tribe of people. We also do teaming at Daniel Wright, that we have a green team, a warrior white team, sorry, a warrior white team, and we have a warrior green team. And then our white team features Mrs. Chaffetz, Mr. Walsh, Mrs. Amenzio, and then ELA Mrs. Sotos or Mr. McDermott. Our green team is Mr. Bino, Mrs. Maloney, Mrs. Bravati, and then Ms. Amato and Mr. McDermott. We call Mr. McDermott and our math teachers, we call them MINT teachers because they have students from both the green and the white team. And so with me today, I actually have Mrs. Amato. If you wanted to stand up and say hello. This is Ms. Amato, she is CLA. Thank you, and 6th grade, Mrs. Silverman, if you'd like to stand up, and then I'll be asked for 6th grade. Also, so every morning, you will meet with your advisors at 8:30, every morning. On the first day of school, the only place you have to worry about getting is to your advisory class. Once you're there, they're gonna totally take care of you and explain the rest of your day and schedule to you. So the first day of school is just getting to your advisory class. We also, here at Daniel Wright, have a system, a program called PATH. We are so fortunate to be one of the only districts in the area that we own our own buses. And because we own our own buses, we can use those buses for different things. One of them is our PASS program, that we do provide a bus for students at 5 o'clock. So we run a normal bus right after school, but then at 5 o'clock, run another bus so that we can have all students participate in either enrichment, remediation, athletics, clubs, academic teams. So this way it gives them an option to do that. So we call it the PASS bus, but it's used for all activities. PASS itself is actually an after-school study hall that is supervised by BW staff. It's held in the library. You don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to come every day. You can come when you need it. It is not held on Fridays. In the past 2 years, and we will continue to do so, this coming school year, is we do partner with Stevenson High School tutors. And Stevenson High School tutors some will come in person and some will Zoom in, but if you need help in a certain area, we will pair you with a Stevenson tutor during that time. PASS is not after-school childcare like the D103 club. Again, it is meant for studying and work after school under the supervision of teachers. We also have our after-school testing center. Here at Daniel Wright, are very proud to be one of the only middle schools in the area and even in the state that we actually do true and full standards-based grading. I'll talk more about that at curriculum night, and the teachers will also share some more information about that. But what I will tell you is what we believe is that not all kids learn at the same rate. And sometimes it takes me a little longer to get things, or as the content gets a little bit more deeper, kids start to make connections back to earlier learning and be like, yes, I get it now. So we want to be able to give kids an opportunity to show what they know, right? So if you take a test and there is a certain area that you don't do well on, your teacher will work with you to identify how can you get better at that skill? What is it you need to practice? And they assign you some extra practice to do. And then you can then go to the testing center and take the test. And then we will advertise those dates once the year begins, but the teacher will work with you on that. It is a similar system that they use at Stevenson High School where students will go to the ILC to make up assessments or retake them. Staying informed is can be the most difficult thing. It really, really can. And especially, we have 3 different platforms. In the back, there you go. By the flag. Do you have a question or are you waving?
I was just making it, sorry.
Okay. All right. Then hello. Okay. All right. We use 3 different platforms to communicate with you. Schoology is new to Daniel Wright this year and to the district. It is similar to Seesaw. So for those of you that have had half-day school, it's a similar platform to Seesaw. But that's where you're going to access your daily kids. You will access your daily activities, the resources that your teachers have for you. You can also submit assignments through there. We also have Unified Classroom. Unified Classroom is the portal we have through Power School. Now, how this works, you will see your schedule. You will see your bus assignments. You will also see your report cards through there. Teacher Ease actually is a grading platform. So what's happened is when we implemented standard-based grading, our school was able to do it. It just wasn't doing it in a way that was easy for kids to interpret and easy for parents to understand. So this past school year, we actually branched out to Teacher Ease because it produces really nice, clear information on how your child is doing relative to different standards. And it creates really nice reports of student progress. The problem is it is just another platform you have to go to. And then some parents are like, where do I look? Am I looking here? Am I looking here? If you want to see how your child is doing along the way on daily or weekly assignments, Teacher Ease is your place to go. Unified Classroom, again, is the beginning of the year item. Schedule, transportation, and then the report cards throughout the trimester. Your children's teachers will share more information with you on all of these platforms and show you how you can log into them. School news. On the district, on our Daniel Wright website, it says school news, and there's a whole bunch of things here. The easiest, or the most up-to-date, specific information, in other words. Today after school will be soccer practice. Today after school will be battle of the books. Today after school will be debate team. Very specifically, daily activities. Clicking here on announcements. That's the best thing for you to look if you're like, oh, when's the tryouts coming, or when's Science Olympiad tryouts coming? Students, we will give you the announcements in the morning verbally. We have them on all of our LCD panels throughout the school. Parents, the best place for you to access them is here, and it's the most up-to-date, minute-by-minute things happening. Yeah, there we go. We are also very, very lucky to have an amazing number of activities, clubs, and sports, even for our sixth graders. So this is an overview of things we have going on. Sixth grade students, you can do cross country, girls basketball, spirit team, wrestling, track and field. If you are interested in girls basketball, know that that starts the first day of school. So the first day of school, you would stay after, and it will start on that first day. The other sports, cross country and soccer, will start, cross country, just cross country, will start following week of school. We have a lot of academic clubs, as you can see. We have flyers out front. We have just general clubs happening, performing, creating arts. We've got a whole bunch of different options for kids, and also our leadership options. So, with that being said, where are my leaders in learning? I had 2 leaders in learning here tonight. Slide 4. Here we go. Come on down, my friends. Leaders in learning. Here we go. All right. Can you hold on to that, Alexis? Thank you. All right. So these fine young friends here came here tonight because they wanted to not only help, but they also want to share with you one piece of advice you would like to give an incoming sixth grader. Go ahead.
Okay, so the one piece of advice I would give an incoming sixth grader is to trust your teachers, because in sixth grade, they're there to help you. You're coming to a brand new school, and each and every one of these teachers wants to make sure that you have the experience you want.
I would say join a lot of clubs because, I mean, it's gonna be really good for you in the end. And I mean, there's no reason not to join clubs. I mean, if you can't deal with all of them, then you can just like, I don't wanna say quit them, but like, quit them. Yeah, and find something else. So I would just say like join a lot of clubs, so you got a lot of chances.
I would add that if you wanted to, you could do the PASS program, where if you had homework, you could get the homework done with help.
One other piece of advice I'd like to share is all of the incoming sixth graders that are very new to Daniel Wright. Feel free to explore everything because everybody's gonna be way more friendly to you and they're gonna show you everything. Try out clubs, try out classes, do everything that you can to your best potential. So then all of your peers and teachers will be happy with you, so you can have a prosperous year.
All right. We're doing locker setup. We have others as well to help you with your lockers. So thank you. You guys can take a seat. Our leaders and learning program is a leadership program that our 7th and 8th graders can join. Honestly, when we stopped, when we transitioned to standards-based grading and we no longer produced a grade point average, that is when we were a member of the National Junior Honor Society, but they would not allow us to continue to be a member if we didn't produce a grade point average. So basically, we said, okay, well, then we'll put in our own leadership program that embodies all of the qualities of kids working for their school and developing character and developing community. Our leaders in learning also do lead and collaborate with the teachers on our social emotional learning all school activities throughout the year. So athletics and activities, I know that was a lot on one slide, but it can be found online. Again, if you just go to d103.org, Daniel Wright, there's athletics, there's activities, you can find everything you need on there. Required forms are also found under athletics. You do need, if your child would like to participate in a fall sport, they must have a physical on file, and that physical has to be done within 395 days of the start of the sport. So it has to be done within at least the most recent year. Also, a permission to participate form has to be filled out. So if you have a child that would like to participate in athletics that start that first week, make sure you get those filled out. All right, we are really fortunate to offer band, orchestra, and choir during the school day for all of our students. 6th graders have the opportunity to participate in band, orchestra, and choir at the end of the day during period 10. So I'm going to share with you some information on band, orchestra, and choir. Oh no. Coming through, but I can't, Daniel, you know where it's coming. I can, you guys can hear me. Well, I'm trying to problem solve it, so. All right, Mr. Song is going to link that in for us. But I will move on. And we can come back to that. And that actually leads us to Mrs. Littlefair. Would you like to just start off a little bit with support services while we are setting this up? Trusted me with the microphone. No, that's, you're not it. You're not next, actually. It's not, you're not next. So, really, we're okay. We'll just let him do his thing. We'll hook it in there. Because then the next thing is I am going to show you what your schedule will look like when you are able to view it on Friday. So Friday, August 6th, you will be able to view your schedules on Unified Classroom. They can be a little difficult to read, but I'm going to show you and go through that for you. But remember, where is the place you need to go on the first day? Advisor. That's it. You just need to get yourself to advisor, okay? And it tells you your teacher's name and the room number. And then from there, we will support you getting everywhere else. Also, on the first 2 days of school this year, we're actually going to have a different start to the school year than we have in the past, because this is a different start to a school year. We have embedded a lot of different activities so you can get to know the building. You can know where things are. We're going to give you tours. We're going to share with you procedures and processes, lots of different things on those first 2 days. So yes, you're getting a lot of information tonight. We will do locker setup. You can come in and set your locker up. But also on those first 2 days, we're going to build in a lot of other things to get you acclimated. Because usually what happens is when you're in 5th grade, you come over to doing right during the day as a 5th grade class, and we do all those things when you're still in 5th grade. And of course, we didn't have the opportunity to do that. I also want to talk a little bit about masks, safety protocols, those kinds of things. That the school board, the District 103 Board of Education, will be making a decision on mask wearing and some other safety protocols. So that decision will be made on August 10th. If it will be mask wearing for vaccinated and unvaccinated as well. Of course, most of our 6th graders are unvaccinated due to their age. And today we ask that you wear the mask because I wasn't able to guarantee the 3 feet minimum distance. The other thing is with lunches. I cannot fit 250 students in here for lunch at a safe distance of 3 feet with masks off and eating. So unfortunately, we will do some students in the cafeteria, some students in their classrooms. However, we're going to create a rotating schedule so that kids will have an opportunity to at least eat in the cafeteria once or twice per week to kind of get more of that typical school feel. And then we're hoping, at some point, we can get everybody back together in the cafeteria. All right, while he's doing that, and we still have a few more things to go over, and does anyone have any questions that maybe I can take right now? Yes.
Question about sports or athletics.
Yeah.
How come boys basketball is not offered in fall or even 6th grade from girls?
Thank you. So boys basketball is actually participates in the Patriot League, and they regulate the grades that can be part of that. There is a stipulation in there that it's for 7th and 8th graders only, again, to participate in the league. If we don't get a full team, then we can put it out there for 6th graders. But it's not our rule, it's the league rule. Yeah, good question. Yeah. Is there a cooking class in 6th grade? Yes, there is, and we call it FCS, Family and Consumer Sciences. Yes, so it is an option. Yes. Oh, well, now you just dropped the mic on me there, didn't you? She asked, are we going on an outdoor ed trip? I'll tell you what we have done, is I reserved the week. Okay, so what I have done at this moment is reserved the week. But if we're going, I won't know that until we get closer there. Okay, yes. So the question is, when we know about the teachers and students. In kindergarten to 5th grade, I mean, you got your class list, right? And it was all the kids that were in your class. Well, of course, we don't do that here because you're changing classes every period. What you are able to see is your schedule on Friday, this Friday, on Unified Classroom. You can see your schedule, okay? And that'll tell you where you're going. But you won't know who's in your class until that day. Okay? Ooh, yes, right over there. Go ahead. How many times per week does each club meet? That depends on the club. Sometimes it can be 2, sometimes it can be 3 days, depends on the club. The science bowl, science Olympiad, it depends on science Olympiad has so many different teams. And then, of course, we have to schedule all those different teams meeting, and sometimes they're part of 3 teams, sometimes they're on 1 team. So it'd be really difficult for me to say. Yeah, thank you. All right, anybody else? Oh, yes, no? He's whispering it to his friend, he doesn't want to say it out loud. Caught him, yes.
Hot lunch program for this year, is there going to be a menu ahead of time so kids can decide whether to participate in the hot lunch or bring something from home?
Yes, the question is, will there be a menu? And on the slide, about lunches, it's called FD Meal Planner. It's an app, and it will have all of that. It's the easiest way to do it. We also will be posting the menus online. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a tryout for basketball or any of the sports? It's everything they want to
There are no tryouts for girls basketball. There are no tryouts for cross country. There are tryouts for boys basketball, that's 7th and 8th grade, and there is tryouts for spirit team. So you have to look at the individual sports. Some have them and some do not. Yes. Great question. If you want to do more than one fund, how do you work that out? Well, I will tell you that our teachers here at Manual really want kids to spend kind of things as possible. There you go, you got it. They want to experience many things as possible, so they're really good with working with you to develop a schedule that you can do both. Okay? In some cases you cannot, like if they're competition clubs or academic teams. Obviously, if those practices are happening, you might have to make a decision between one academic team and the other. Okay, you're welcome. Yes. Is there library time? And that library time can be during flex time, you can go down to the library, and then your English teachers will take you to the library. Go ahead. The club leaders are standing right teachers. Yeah. All right, anyone else? If we can't get that to play, you can always look at it from your link. Yes. We offer girls soccer boys, we do not. Yeah, those are outside organizations. Yeah. Yes.
Is there contingency plan for buses running late to pick up the students?
I'm not necessarily contingency plan, but if the buses are running late, what we do is we do have text messaging. And we can text message a bus and to let parents know, like families on the bus to let them know. But then of course, we do let our teachers know, hey bus, whatever is running late, and so that the teachers are aware. Okay. Well, I'll just talk about the orchestra choir. Bottom line is, everyone's welcome to join it. You can be in choir or orchestra. I'm sorry, choir and orchestra. You can be in choir and band. You cannot be in band and orchestra, just how the schedule works. If you are interested in signing up for band, orchestra, or choir, you just have to email myself and Mrs. Nesbon, and we can very easily add that onto your schedule. If you took a picture of the code and you downloaded today's presentation, and we're also going to upload it onto our YouTube channel. You can do the whole video for the band, orchestra, and choir. We're good. Oh, we can watch it now. Okay. Literally, Daniel just started like 2 weeks ago, so poor guy, but you're doing a great job. Yeah, come on, good job, Daniel.
I would have nothing if I didn't. Hi, I'm Mr. Jordan.
Hi, Miss Pepper.
I'm Mr. Gable. We wanted to say, welcome to the We're so excited to make music with you in the fall, and we wanted to tell you a little bit more about us.
We are so excited for you to be here, and everyone to give you a sneak peek of DW. Come on, let's go inside.
I would have nothing if I didn't have you. Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Clark. I'm required every day at Daniel Wright, and in my spare time, you might find me watching Cubs baseball with my wife, who's a math teacher at Stevenson, as well as our baby daughter and our puppy.
Hi, I'm Mr. April. I teach band here at DW. And when I'm not teaching, you can probably find me drinking tea, listening for birds, or curling.
Hi, I'm Miss Bubba, and I teach orchestra here at Daniel Wright. When I'm not teaching, you can find me watching two-step violin and also being active, such as going for runs outside.
Yeah, Mr. April. Hey, Mr. Clark, what is Bach? Bach, B-O-C, stands for Band, Orchestra, Chorus. We have an acronym for it because what we do is really special. And we're a community of ensembles working together.
Mr. Clark,
Ms. Boba,
when do we meet?
as a member of band, orchestra, and chorus, you'll have full ensemble rehearsals as well as small group lessons. The specific times for those meetings are to be determined, but we know that we'll have performances throughout the year as well as rehearsals and lessons each week.
So, can I be in more than one ensemble?
Yes and no. The short answer is yes. You can be in more than one ensemble if you're a part of chorus. You can be a member of chorus and one instrumental ensemble. Unfortunately, it's not possible to be part of both band and orchestra because of the way our small group lesson schedule works. But if you're a member of band or orchestra, you can also be a member of chorus, and we call you members.
Mr. Clark,
Yes, Ms. Bubba.
what is the commitment like?
Well, at any rate, being a member of band, orchestra, and or chorus means you are part of a class where you receive a grade and attendance is required. In addition, we're more than just a class because you'll have an at-home practice routine you develop in coordination with your teacher in order to master the skills you need to complete your weekly assignments. Attendance at rehearsals and performances is required because your effort affects everyone else in the ensemble, and you're a team doing things together.
So, Mr. Clark, are there additional opportunities for performance that we should know about?
What else is you? On top of all the program offerings we have in band, orchestra, and chorus, we also offer jazz band, show choir, solo ensemble contest, the ILNBA composition competition, a full-scale musical in the spring, digital audio production class, consortium concerts with the other middle schools in the Stevenson area, and we're always having more opportunities.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and click subscribe. Actually, if you have any questions, just send one of us an email.
And don't forget to check out the presentation slides in the description of this video.
Have a great night.
And that's on. All right, here we go. All right, so here's the big question, right? Where is your schedule? Well, August 6th, again, your schedules will become available. You are going to go to www.103.org. And under quick links, you're going to go to Unified Classroom. This is where you will sign in. And it is the same place where you registered and where you verify residency and things. You will get to where it says quick links, and then you can find my schedule. This is also the place you'll be able to find your transportation assignments. However, they won't be available until August 13th. So when you take a look at your schedule, this is what you're going to see right here. Now, out of this whole thing, what is the one thing, friends, that you need to know? Advisory, right. So this is all you really need to worry about for the first day is advisory. This teacher has Ms. Maloney, and that's in room 109. Okay? And there'll be plenty of staff here to help you on that day. But let me just give you a quick overview, parents, because really this stresses the parents out more than the kids. Because when they get here, the teachers have a little template, they go through it, they walk them to classes, so the kids get it really quick. It's the parents that aren't really sure. So what this means right here, you'll see it says period 671. It says A and B day. We run an A day and a B day schedule. So what this means is period 1, pre-algebra on A days and B days. 6_2 here means 6th grade, period 2. And if you notice, it's just on A days. So what that means is that this particular student will have math on period 1 every day, and then period 2 on A days. And Mrs. Nussbaum, of course, we picked one that is wrong. Anyway, it says 6_3, this should say B day, because that means on period 2, on B days, the student would have ELA. And then period 4, on A days and B days, they have ELA. So basically how it works is one day you have a double block of math and a period of ELA. On the opposite day, you have a double block of ELA and a single block of math.
And Mrs. Black was gonna just say that students will receive a student template and teachers will help them fill it out individually. So each child will have their schedule template, understand what it is, and I promise on day 2, they will be running.
There you go. The other thing is here, period 3, so 6th grade, period 3, if you notice it says Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, that is the slot that this particular student has PE and health. So you can see quarter 1, which is the start of school, this student has PE. Down here, period 9, you can see that there's 4 period 9 listed because there's 4 quarters in period 9. This particular student has art quarter 1, library, music, and then STEM. At the end of the day, we have our flex time, and flex time again is when you can go to band, orchestra, or choir, or you can access your teachers for help. If you are a band, orchestra, or choir student, and you do need help or support from one of your teachers, just let our wonderful performing arts staff know, and they will certainly work with you to do that. So I don't want you to feel like once you get into band, orchestra, and choir, you don't have the option to see your teachers. You do. You just need to communicate that. All right. So that's a lot of the nuts and bolts of the day. Mrs. Littlefair is now going to come up to talk to you a little bit about how we can support all of our friends and parents. I am sure. I got the microphone again. How very fortunate for us.
Okay, so I really oversee student services here at the Wright and at the district level as well. We have a wonderful, wonderful support team here at Daniel Wright. We have Andrea Shelton, who is our school psychologist. Alex Funk, who is one of our social workers, Christine Liu, who is here tonight, if you want to stand up. She is another social worker that we have. We also have Kristen from others, so we have a lot of Chris in our support system. She is also a social worker. I wanted to convince Alex to change her name to Christina or something like that. We also have Marissa Pastore, who is our school nurse. She is our school nurse for the district as well. So a lot of those forms that you've been feverishly filling out, the physical, all of those things, those are handled by her. Of course, where's that word? Every student has access to that support team at any time. Throughout the last few years, we've created opportunities for students to, they were concerned about someone, a friend, or they have a concern about themselves. We have ways for them to communicate that to an adult here. It can be anonymous. It doesn't have to be anonymous. What we want to do is really encourage our students to speak up. I think given the year that we've had with the pandemic, I think we all realize how important it is to keep our children safe and really focus on making sure that they're supported emotionally and making sure that we're taking care of their mental health. So we do have bully boxes that were recently taken down because of construction, but they will be put back up. This is a way that students can, if they have a concern about themselves, being targeted by someone or they're seeing things that are happening to other students. This is an anonymous way for them to report it. It is checked daily, and so we would, all of us would follow up with any reports that the bully boxes. We also have we need a line button, which can be found at our website at for Dana Wright. This is an electronic means to do the same thing with the bully boxes. If you have a concern about a friend or you want to share a concern about yourself, this is a way that you can do that as well. Like I said, that could be found at any time during the day or at night as well. We also have Text Assist. This is actually not one of our programs, but it's run through the Lake County. We've had this program or access to Text Assist for I think 6 years now. It is run by the Lake County, and what you'll see or what students can do is they can text, literally text. They text it to a specific Lake County number, and a licensed clinician actually is receiving those text messages. This is a program that is actually used in a variety of different schools in Lake County. Anytime that there is a text message, like I said, it's always followed up by someone on the other end who is a licensed clinician. Okay.
All right, I'm bringing it home for you. All right, so state of Illinois, health requirements, right? You need these things, you need physical examination to enter into 6th grade, and all your immunizations need to be updated. So you can please make sure you get those in as soon as possible. Definitely we start at school sooner rather than later, so we can get it checked out, and especially if your child wants to participate in the sport, we need that so that they can do that. All right, so a little bit of wrap up here, the kind of things to remember from today. Student schedules will be available on Friday, okay? Students who go to their advisory the first day of school, and our first day of school is also an A day. Back to school district and building information will be emailed out to all of our families this Friday as well. So you get an electronic version of all of the things happening. And then mask and COVID safety protocols, again, will be finalized by the District Board of Education at the board meeting on August 10th. So let's make this a great year. I know that it may not be completely normal, but boy, it feels good to be doing some of the typical things and getting everyone back into school. The communication is definitely the key during this transition. You can't over communicate. Please make sure kids talk to myself, Mrs. Minifer, Mrs. Littlefair, one of the counselors, your teachers, anyone, stop them in the hallway. Ask questions, ask for help, ask for directions. They're here to help you. Parents, the same thing. Please feel free to reach out to the front office staff. Is a wealth of information to the administrators and directly to the teachers as well. We really want to make this transition as seamless as possible. And for all of you that are new, all the parents that this is the first time, I wish you a lot of stamina and a lot of sleep, because I know it causes a lot of anxiety, but it'll be okay, and we're excited to have you. Have a good evening. Thank you.